My mother told me and my siblings when we were young kids, before I remember it was when my older brother started secondary school. It was a big deal, my older brother going off to the big boy school. And my mum sat us down. She said, if you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and thought-provoking viral moments on TikTok. A man revealing advice his mom gave him. If you are ever in trouble, find a black woman. On the surface, it sounds like a compliment, but as we dig deeper, we will see there is so much more to unpack. So grab your coffee, tea or whatever you need to settle in, because we are about to have a real conversation about culture, race and the weight of expectations.
Okay, I haven't been on TikTok for a bit, and I noticed everyone was tagging me in that whole Andrew Schultz thing about black women. I'll make a different comment about Andrew Schultz and that little rat Akash thing, but I want to say something about black women. And this was my mother, and I God is my witness right now. May the Lord strike me down if I'm lying. My mother told me and my siblings when we were young kids, before I remember it was when my older brother started secondary school. It was a big deal, my older brother going off to the big boy school. And my mum sat us down. She said, if you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman. My mum said this. My mum was raised in this country from the age of 6, the UK. She said, look for a black woman. She said, anywhere in the world, a black woman will help you. She was never wrong. But it's incredible that my mother said that. And I don't know what my mum went through. But I remember seeing photos of my mum in school when she was in high school and stuff. And she had loads of black friends and stuff. And they were all black women. Because my mum wasn't a pick-me. She only had female friends. And so she obviously felt some protection. And growing up for me, I noticed in my school, it was a very predominantly white school. The black teachers looked out for me. I had a black Jamaican teacher called Mrs. Forrester. She looked out for me. But even outside of school, when I started growing out my hair, it was a black woman that taught me how to look after my curls, what products to use. It's black women that built me up on this platform and got me to where I am. I have to give credit to where credit is due. It was women in general, but black women specifically who boosted me and told me how pretty I was and how great I was. But I am trying to make a point here, and it's that black women get treated the worst. The worst. Malcolm X said this. He goes, unfortunately, they are treated the worst. By the medical field, by the education field, by the police, by everything. Yet they're the ones that give the most love. And for I saw what he said in that post, Andrew Schultz, and some comments, and it's sad, and it hurts my heart when I think of those things, because I'll tell you right now, it wasn't that long ago. My friend Jordan, who I love and boast about, Jordan's got these. Jordan's family is just. When I was homeless, and Jordan introduced me to his family, they treated me like I was one of them. They didn't even care. They were just they treated me like family. It didn't feel awkward. You know when you go over to someone's house and you just sat in the corner for a bit? It didn't feel like that. And I know not all black people are the same. Obviously, I know that. But there's one thing that black people universally have, and that is that beautiful smile and beautiful love that they just give out. But I'm telling you, it's a special feeling. I remember going to Jordan's once, and I was just heartbroken. His family just welcome me, and they were like, "Where's the?" You know what? You know what his family said to me? They go. Oh, we've got a plate ready for you. And then Jordan's cousin just looks me up and then goes, "You're still skinny, boy." And I'm just like, right, well, yeah, I know I'm home. No, I can't sit and not make a comment on this because no, and I know I made a post months ago about black men, but yeah, and go look through history. Go look at what Nina Simone did. Go look at what Doreen Lawrence, Stephen Lawrence's mother, did. Go look at what Betty Shabazz did. These people are just incredible. And we don't give credit where credit is due. We really don't. And I think nowadays we're living in this world where if someone's pretty, we give them credit. Credit for what? They were just born beautiful, but we don't look at the person's soul. We don't look at we don't look at what people can attribute to life. If we did, we would give Mary C. Cole a huge statue. So that's my 2 cents, and I hope just thank you, and yeah, and thank you to the a specific thank you to the Jamaican community, because there was this Jamaican woman who helped my grandmother, and that's a different story. And just Black women in general, thank you for everything you've done for me, for everything you've done for my family, and for everything you've done for our people. My people wouldn't have survived in the UK if it weren't for Black people standing up for us, coming to the protests for us, protesting with the bus rallies for us. Yeah, I know my history. So thank you.
That boy that said his mother told him every time when he was a child, his mother told him, if you were in trouble, look for a Black woman. Not this one. Not this one. If you're in trouble and you're looking for a Black woman and she happens to be named Divine and she got a blonde wig on, you best look elsewhere. Because I ain't going to be no help for nobody but myself, baby. Okay? Because I've been helping y'all before. And I seen the way y'all treated me. Treated me like a little mammy. I'm good on that. I'm good off that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and while we're at it, if you're another race group and y'all start going through stuff, war all over the other side of the world, or you're in America and y'all start going through stuff in America, don't come to Black people. Especially don't come to Black women. Y'all on your own. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not trying to hear nothing. I'm not marching for nobody. I'm not holding no sign for nobody. I'm not eating at my favorite restaurant because you going through a lot with whomever y'all going through it with. That ain't got nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with Black women. Because whenever it's time to organize and make change, everybody wants to look at Black women. Oh, you're not gonna say nothing? You're not gonna use your large platform to say nothing? No. If it don't have anything to do with Black women, I'm not talking about it. If it don't got nothing to do with moving Black women forward, I'm not talking about it. I don't care. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't care. Especially with that stuff on the whole other side of the world. And then y'all gonna vote for this man? Oh, yeah, no. I'm not about to worry my little head about what y'all have going on anymore if y'all are not going to look out for the best interest of Black people. I'm not. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do my daily routine. If I look on the internet and it ain't got nothing to do with Black women, it don't concern me.
Dear Black women, if you are trying to get validation from the people who are oppressing you, you are wasting your time. Every day on TikTok, Black women are called aggressive, angry, bitter, strong, masculine. And now, I have nothing against this content creator, but I think it's very it's ironic that when it's convenient for you, you are now telling that if your child is in danger, you have to look for a Black woman. And this content creator is not the first who say that on TikTok. I have even heard white women saying the same, that, oh, if my child is in danger, he or she has to seek and look for a Black woman. I'm trying to understand. Why would you want your child to get protected or to receive any type of help from a Black woman, knowing that she is aggressive, she's angry, she's bitter, she is masculine? White women are supposed to be soft, feminine, and they have all the characteristics of the perfect, the ideal women. The real question is, why? Why you rather get protection from a black woman who is always angry, who is always aggressive, instead of having a white women are full of love, why would you seek protection from a black woman who is aggressive and not from a white woman who is supposed to be loving and caring and nurturing? I'm intrigued.
Recently, a South Asian man from the UK came on here and he said that his mom told him that anywhere he's in the world, if he needs help, find a black woman. And there are hundreds of women who took it as a compliment, rightfully so, because that's their right. And they're being called mammies and whatnot by another demographic of black women. And while that is their right not to feel that it's a compliment because of their lived experience and their relationship with their blackness and how they exist within their society, I'm not here to undermine that. But I'm here to speak to the women who are being called mammies. You're not wrong for taking it as a compliment because not all of us have the same lived experience. Not all of us grew up in oppressive societies. Not all of us see helping as a burden, right? I can speak for myself. Growing up in the Caribbean, growing up as a Dominican woman, there's never been a time where my kindness was gendered, where kindness is gendered, where help is gendered. The men help just as much as the women. There's not this overwhelming burden on the women to be good people. You know, I've never not felt supported by the men in my society. I've never not felt protected by the men in my society. I can depend on the protection of the men in my society. There are many times where I've seen certain things happen. I'm like, West Indian men would never just stand by and let this happen. Those of us who did not grow up in individualistic societies, we don't see help as a burden. We don't keep a tally. We don't see it as something transactional because it's not just us doing it. It's the society doing it. So I help you, you help me. It's just part of being a good neighbor. It's part of being a good person. And we are allowed to have that attitude towards helping because 9 times out of 10, when we look around, we're helped every single day. You know, like I grew up in a community where if you don't have food today, you can tell your neighbor and they'll give you food until your paycheck comes. Or if you can't get to work because you're low on cash, you can talk to the bus driver and be like, okay, at the end of the month, I'll pay you back. And they'll drop you to work every week. Or you can go to somebody and be like, hey, I'm low on cash. Can I catch a ride with you this week? And they'll bring you to work every day. Like we're not deprived of support. So therefore, the idea of depriving other people of support is kind of weird to us. So you don't have to feel bad because you took what he said as a compliment. Okay? The women who aren't taking it as a compliment is because there's imbalance in their lived experience, not through any fault of their own, just because they live in an oppressive society. They have not been helped. They have not been supported. They have not been given what we have. So therefore, they can't take these things as a compliment the way that we do. So while I will not discredit their experience because it's very real and it's very hard to watch and I wish they had a different reality, but we shouldn't be made to feel bad because of ours and our responses because we're able to hear these words differently. So it's hitting our spirit differently. I'm not saying that there aren't any, issues and nuances within our society, but as a whole, historically, we don't exist in a space where we are not also given help and support. To my sisters who saw that as a compliment, hats off to you. Don't feel bad. Being kind feels good to me. Being unkind makes me sick because it's not me. And nobody and nothing, not history, not anything will cause me to not be me. And don't let anybody bully you into thinking it's cool to be unkind when that's what you want to be.
It's hard not to get annoyed when non-Black people talk about how Black women will save them, but it gets even more annoying when you hear that from non-Black people of color because a couple of thoughts cross my mind. One, where did you learn that from? I mean, I know where you learned it from, but why did you accept it so easily? And two, why do you feel more reliant on us than the people in your own community? I think they think it's a compliment to say, Black women will save us. Black women are the most powerful beings in the world. They're superhuman. And it's like, no, we are human just like you. We are not any more or less capable of getting things done than you are. It's just that you were taught that whatever you don't want to do, we will do it. And I don't like that. That's actually not cool. I'm not saying that you can't engage with us, but I am saying, like, what makes you think that we're superhuman and can solve problems that you can't solve yourself? It's like, do you ever stop to consider that maybe we don't want to help you? If we say no, if we say we actually don't want to, or we don't have the emotional bandwidth, or we just frankly don't give a shit, then we're the bad guys and people call us everything but a child of God. Have you ever considered the fact that we are basically forced to overperform because if we don't overperform, we'll be seen as lazy or bitchy or inconsiderate or selfish? This shows up in a lot of different areas of life. If you think about how many Black women feel the need to over excel in academics and in the workplace, and a lot of times they don't really get recognition for that. It's because we're expected to do like twice the amount of work for just basic human recognition. The most frustrating thing about it as a Black woman, though, is that I genuinely do like helping people. I like being kind to people, but I often have to question, like, do I genuinely like helping people? Do I like being kind to people, or was I just conditioned to be that way? Because as a Black woman, if I act human, if I have bad days, if I say I don't want to help you, I'll be painted as a villain. I don't particularly like feeling that way, that a trait that I have, ambition, kindness, empathy, that these are things that are just kind of not really appreciated in me as a person because they're expected of me as a Black woman. Like, yeah, of course this Black woman is going to work like more than she should. She's Black. That's what Black women do. Unless they don't, then they're lazy welfare queens.
Alright, let's start with the guy's perspective and his mom advice. He explained in the video that his mom told him Black women are wise, resourceful, and always know how to help in a crisis. In a way, it's a testament to the strength and resilience the Black women are known for. It's true, Black women have historically been pillars of strength in their communities and beyond. From Harriet Tubman leading an enslaved people to freedom, to Rosa Parks sparking a movement, to model leaders like Stacey Abrams advocating for voter rights, Black women have been at the forefront of the progress. But this is where it gets tricky. While the sentiment is rooted in admiration, it can also unintentionally perpetuate harmful stereotypes. Let me explain. The idea of the strong Black women is deeply ingrained in society. It portrays Black women as invincible, always ready to handle any challenge thrown their way. And while it's empowering to be seen as capable and resilient, this trope can be a double-edged sword. Why? Because it strips Black women of their humanity. It suggests that they don't need rest, support, or help because they are always strong. Imagine being constantly relayed on to the safe day, even when you are struggling yourself. That's an exhausting expectation, right? Some critics of this viral TikTok pointed out that this advice, while well-meaning, puts yet another burden on Black women. It essentially says, don't worry about figuring things out, just pass your problems onto a Black woman and she will take care of it. Let's think about the implications of this advice. What does it mean to tell someone, go to a Black woman when you are in trouble? Does that mean she has to drop everything to solve your problem? Does it mean her needs come second? Whether we realize it or not, advice like this assume that Black women are always willing and able to be caretakers of everyone around them. Now, don't get me wrong. Many Black women are indeed generous, wise, and empathic, but the key point here is choice. Black women shouldn't have to bear the weight of being everyone's go-to problem solver. They should be celebrated for their strengths, but not bundled by them. Here's an interesting question to consider. What if we flip the script? What if, instead of telling someone to rely on a Black woman in times of trouble, we taught people to offer support to Black women when they are in trouble? Imagine how transformative it could be to see the world step up for Black women with the same energy they are expected to give. This brings me to another layer of conversation, the reaction online. On one side, you had people praising the advice. They saw it as a recognition of Black women's value and contribution. Comments like, Black women are the backbone of our society, or this mom knows exactly who to trust, we are everywhere. For many, it felt like a long overdue acknowledgement of Black women's role as leaders and protectors. But then, there were those who pushed back. Some said, why do we always have to be the savior? Why can't we just exist without being expected to fix everything? Others felt the advice was reductive, reducing Black women to a stereotype instead of celebrating their individuality. And then there were people in the middle, those who appreciated the sentiment but also recognized its problematic undertones. They acknowledged that while it's nice to be admired, it's equally important to challenge the societal structures that create these expectations in the first place. Let's zoom out for a moment. This viral moment isn't just about one guy's mom giving him advice. It's part of a larger conversation about how society views Black women. It's about the ways in which they are celebrated and, at the same time, undervalued. Think about it. How often do we hear stories of black women stepping up in leadership roles, solving crises, and fighting for justice? And yet, how often do we see those same women being supported, uplifted, and cared for? There's a disconnect between how much they give and how much they receive, and that is something we all need to reflect on. At the end of the day, this viral TikTok is a reminder of two things. First, is a reminder of just how amazing black women are. They are truly a leaders, problem solvers, and source of wisdom. But second, is also a reminder that admiration should never come at the expenses of fairness. We need to make sure that while we are celebrating black women, we are also giving them the space to rest, to be vulnerable, and to just be. So what do you think? Was this advice harmless and heartwarming, or does it carry deeper implications about societal expectations? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you are a black woman watching this, I did especially love to hear your perspective. How does this advice make you feel? Let's keep the conversation going, because these are the kinds of discussion that help us grow and learn as a community. Thank you so much for sticking with me for this deep dive. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.